What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about one of Disney Plus's newest original films. It's Secret Society of Second-Born Royals. I wanted to watch this when it first came out since I always like checking out what Disney Plus has in store, but because I was so busy last month, I never got the chance until right now. Same with the other Disney Plus movie, Clouds, and I'll get to that soon enough too. But it's time to talk about a world of superhero princesses. The real question is if it's any good, or if you'll rue the day that you have to watch this movie. Let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, rue, to feel penitence, remorse, or regret for. Secret Society of Second-Born Royals falls around Sam, a second-born royal who lives in the shadow of her sister, a first-born princess and destined ruler of the country. As it so happens, though, second-born royals have a special gene in their blood that gives them superpowers. So Sam and a number of other second-born royals her age are initiated in a secret hidden society that is tasked with saving the world. This time, they must protect the world from an escaped convict that mysteriously has telekinetic powers. This film feels right up Disney's alley, at least in concept. I mean, you got princesses and superheroes. What more could you ask for? Truthfully, I feel like the film's concept is better than the movie, which feels really juvenile versus what it could have felt like with just a little bit of tweaking. It's an interesting movie, I'll give it that, and for what it is, it's nothing horrible, but I feel like my review on it's gonna be kind of short because I don't really have that much to say about it. I think for the most part, the word that comes to mind with this one is safe. It doesn't really take a ton of risks, nor does it really strive to do anything different. It's basically a mashup of ideas that we've seen before, and it wasn't even the best or most believable variation of these things. On the princess side of things, the movie is already all over the place. I mean, I can't get a handle on the setting, which I'm sure is fictional, but listen to these people talk. Some people are British, others have American accents, even within the same family, and it's never really explained why the queen has a British accent while her daughters have American accents. If it was explained, the exposition part of the movie did a poor job because this inconsistency travels beyond the main royal family. It shows up in others too, and I don't get it. Where does this take place? I also had a hard time believing any of these characters were actually royalty. Even the queen herself just seems to be a stern business lady at best. I don't recall seeing any castle or palace, and if they lived in one, the internal shots of their home just looks like a normal person's house. Part of Disney magic is making these palaces that princesses live in stand out as immaculate and perfect in a place that all these kids would want to grow up to live in one day too. I just had a terribly difficult time believing these second-born royals were princes or princesses. On the superhero side of things, I think that's where the film kind of draws a little bit more uniqueness, but not by much. It's a toss-up as if their powers are going to be unique or not, but thankfully, the film actually draws most of its strength by creating teamwork among these kids, and they actually have a lot of decent chemistry together. They seem like they're having a good time. So when you combine that with their diverse assortment of superpowers that they use to help each other save the world, it works. It's nothing that's wholly original or better than, say, the Avengers, but it is the best part of the movie, and it's much more appropriate than a lot of the stuff that you see in bigger movies like what the MCU does, especially for younger kids. That might be a selling point for you. It might not be, but as a parent, I get the appeal. In general, I'm not sure what I expected to find out of this movie, but what I got was, it was fine. Again, it's nothing bad. I just found myself to be a bit bored while watching because I was not in the target audience. I couldn't connect with these characters or their intrinsic issues that they're all dealing with. It's all a bunch of malarkey for me. But let's go ahead and break down my final score for a second. From a technical, unbiased perspective, I can't just sit here and say they did a bad job or anything. They did what they needed to do. So that's good. Even some of the CGI is approached better than where Disney Plus started out with. My only technical issue really came down to the inconsistencies with the accents these characters had. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a minor gripe that doesn't really negatively affect my score that much. That unbiased score is 68%. But here's where things get a little bit murky. Like I said, I was bored with the movie in general. Couldn't get into it, thought it needed a little bit of tweaking before I could call it decent. My personal bias score is 54%, averaging everything out to a final rating of 61%, 61 out of 100 possible stars, or a D letter grade. I don't know what it is about Disney Plus, but I couldn't really find an original movie in the roster that I love. There's been a couple here or there that, I had a fun enough time with, but each one of these movies are rated significantly lower than pretty much everything else that I watch in the year. I'd say it's actually on par with Netflix originals in that both streaming services often underwhelm me with their assortment of original movies, but their, original TV shows are pretty decent. Guys, let me know your thoughts on Secret Society of Second-Born Royals in the comments section down below, especially if you're a parent. What'd you think of the movie? As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this review, because there's always more like it coming out each and every single day. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us.